these are the adventures of Super Chick. I'm Cecelia Sterling, and I have a story to share. So a little background. Recently, I did a belief system upgrade, I believe is what it was officially called. And while I organically have gotten myself to believe more of what I want to believe and like have a perspective in line with how I see the world, I had some sticky spots. And in the beginning, there was an assessment at the beginning, and there was a list of questions. And one of them was, do you believe the world is safe? And I said, yes. And they said, do you believe the world is unsafe? And I said, yes. So I've gotten myself to the place where I do believe it's safe, but not all the time. So I've got some work to do, right? And as the universe does, it gives me a whole training session over the next couple of months to fully upgrade my belief systems. One of which is kind of like a big ski adventure. And of course, I don't know it at the time, but I go to look at my bank accounts one day and I am really uncomfortable. You probably remember this happening to me last fall. And I have a similar emotional storm. I feel scared. I feel uncertain. I feel angry. I haven't achieved some of the things that I hoped I would achieve by January. I am insecure. I'm really upset. And the fear is present and past, right? So I'm in it. I go to sleep that night. I feel all alone in the world. I cry myself to sleep. I'm upset with my husband. I'm upset with everybody, everything. I'm flooded emotionally. And I go to sleep in the night and wake up and I'm not sleeping well. So I write it all out, which is very helpful for me, and go back to sleep. I do get a little sleep that night. And in the morning, I want some help processing it all. And I go to reach out to my coach, and I'm going to send her a GIF or a GIF. And I feel like it's just going to perfectly encapsulate how I feel. Because I have just seen a very funny Instagram reel as I grabbed my phone to reach out for help. And it was about this guy who's about to go skiing, and he's all in his ski attire in his car. And he's like, I'm so excited to be here and spend all the money I have and wear every article of clothing I own and spend, sign my life away in contracts that these skis absolutely fit my kids after spending all the money I have. And 20 minutes later, they tell me all of these skis absolutely do not fit our feet. And it was just all of these funny things wrapped up in going skiing. And I am giggling, and I'm going to send her a GIF that's like also a ski metaphor, but a little more representative of all of my fears of catastrophe around this financial angst. And as I go to look through the GIF options, there is not one. There are people skiing with ease and cute outfits, and I'm like, where are all my fears being reflected back to me? Like the yard sale and the falling down the mountain and breaking all the bones. They're not even there. And when he was listing off all the things that are so funny about skiing, he never listed anything about like spending all this money to then, possibly die on the side of the mountain, fall off, all the things I'm scared of when I ski. He didn't list any of those. I'm like, where are all my fears? I believe I accidentally released them all during my belief system upgrade. And I just have to laugh, right? I have to laugh. So I have this really funny metaphor around skiing. I reach out to her to find, like a visual representation of all of my calamity. And with a little more effort, I am able to validate my feelings. I do search yard sale, and there is someone who is like sprawled out on the mountain, skis everywhere. Oh, thank you, universe. Yes, that's what I'm scared of, right? But in all of this, like I've had a night's sleep, it's the next day, and I realize in getting my SHIT together that I have to take a few steps here, and I just need to address the issue. Having a daughter is a great reminder that even when we're flooded emotionally, we take a break and then we address the issue at hand, right? I want to teach her how to navigate these experiences, which helps me navigate them instead of just staying in bed, right? So I talked to my dad and I talked to my partner. And my conversation with my dad is a whole nother story that I will share with you another day. And when I talk to my partner, I'm in a whole nother navigation of lots of belief systems, right? But one of the really beautiful gifts that I receive is when I present mine and say, I should have gotten a job already, and I'm sorry I'm not contributing enough financially. He says to me, you have a really big job here taking care of our daughter. We both want you to do that. You're doing it really well. So this is not your problem right now. And I get this gift of I am enough. Regardless of the balance in my bank account, I am enough. Remember, my girlfriend told me last fall that, and it was right around the same storm, this emotional financial storm, that problems are steps on the ladder of solutions. So having this big struggle is leading me to a conversation with my partner where I am receiving all of this validation. Well, one of my new beliefs that I have downloaded is that I am enough. And so while I wasn't finding all my fears reflected out in the universe, I am finding this new belief reflected to me right here in my home. Very grateful, right? And we start, thinking creatively, because when you're scared, you get very limited perspective. We start thinking creatively and talking about where we do have money. And we don't necessarily need other people to help us, but we might need to shift around investments that we have and that I might have more than I realize in my fear, right? So as I go into the next day, I'm at least back to my somewhat of a super self, right? I know how to navigate. I'm really proud of myself and my partner that we've had this challenging conversation while feeling all of this fear and anxiety. And I take the morning, I actually have a little time to myself that day. I'm super grateful for it. And I do a meditation to sort of relax, calm down my nervous system and get me back to neutral, right? And I get a phone call, which I would never normally answer in this moment. But I do. I just answer the phone. And it's like a movie. I'm laying there on the sofa. I'm staring at the ceiling and I go, hello? It wasn't even like my tone of voice. And it's a close girlfriend of mine. And it's like she's calling me from the mountain. I kid you not. So I have this whole skiing metaphor going. And now I'm getting a call from the actual mountain. Her daughter has just competed in a very high level ski competition. And I'm like, thank you, universe. I can't make this up as well on the show. It's amazing the metaphors that come to me. And so we start talking up and I'm like, how's it going on the mountain? How is it in the mountains this season? And she says, well, conditions are dicey. Conditions this year are dicey. And I'm like, yeah, that's my experience. And I tell her my whole funny thing about, all my fears around skiing. I've never skied enough for a consistent amount of time where I got to experience the increase in my talent or ability. I never got to fine tune. So it's always very thrilling. I'm determined to be there. If I'm in better condition, it's slightly easier. I've experienced that. But ultimately, while I'm going down the mountain, I'm like, this is so incredible. And I'm completely frightened, out of my mind that I could die and literally fall off that mountain. And she kind of giggles at me, right? She skis all the time, every winter. Her kids are incredible skiers. Her husband's crazy, all the things. Much higher comfort level at this altitude, if you will. So I ask her about her daughter's competition and she says, well, she is doing incredible things. She is skiing faster and mastering elements way beyond last year. And she's just performing at a higher level. And yet at the end of this competition, her ski got stuck like on a divot or something, and she loses her ski. She is okay. She continues to ski on one ski. Wow. And finishes the race. She's not DQ'd because of how she addressed the issue, but it's not like her great high score and a reflection of all of these wonderful things she had done before that happened in the competition, right? And I feel all of this emotional energy coming at me from their whole family, right? Like the management of the expectations, the wanting to support your child and all of their big emotional experience. Perhaps she was flooded like me emotionally after this, right? She just, comes into her mom's arms and I say, wow, like she is starting to master these certain elements, and the universe gave her a new drill which would help her increase her ability to process the emotional experience of competing at this really high level, right? Which is emotional resilience and the ability to cope when something goes awry, when your ski breaks, any of the things, right? In or out of your control. And I hear the words come out of my mouth when I say to her, she really is building and strengthening her emotional resilience, which she will need to perform at this higher level, right? My girlfriend's like, yeah, totally. My girlfriend was also a very high level athlete when she was growing up. But they're the words I needed to hear as well. If I'm going to have this higher level operating system, I'm going to need to upgrade my ability to process the emotional experience at this altitude, at this speed, at this level of competition, if you will, is another metaphor, right? And it's almost like I needed that real life experience and conversation more than I needed the relaxing meditation, which I believe is why I answered the phone. And so lots of things come up for me, like how our daughters help us heal and grow and take steps that may be too uncomfortable if it was just us. And I just sitting there with this sort of imagery of like cutting new teeth, cutting ice with the edge of your ski, cutting new belief systems, which is what I'm doing. First, it hurts. It's hard and painful. But second of all, it's so exhilarating. And there are going to be aspects that are thrilling. And while I'm someone who really would like to just have not have any problems, I do believe that the problems we have are steps on our ladder of solutions, and they help us like build the fortitude or the ability to navigate at the level we are new to. And I'm pretty sure that's continual. And then in all of this, I'm realizing that the last time I was on this mountain, there was a big emotional storm last fall, which I shared with you. It was financial. But I had the metaphor of climbing the mountain, which was really hard. Like climbing, I've lost some tools. There's a blizzard. I got a baby on my back and like, we don't have enough food. And now my metaphor is skiing. So while it may be scary and I could still lose everything, it's also really fun. And if I can traverse, it's like way easier to slide down the mountain than climb up, right? So you see why I had to share. I mean, I'm pretty sure these are the experiences that turn us into real life, regular people, superheroes, navigating these days, these weeks, these life experiences. And with that, I'll say ciao for now. I'm Cecelia Sterling, and these are the adventures of Super Chick.